want to talk about?
My number one rule of my podcast is there's no planning. It's just going.
It's a beautiful plan.
That's literally it.
If it goes in the wrong hole, you just keep playing.
Exactly. There is one quick request that I have, which is you turn on my stream because it just went on, and then you.
How do I do that?
As a viewer. So I'm looking to Zoom chat. I just gave you the link. Just open it up and click view, and then mute it, and then you're good to go.
Okay, I'm going there now. It's on. Mute is muted, and I've got a commercial. Credit Karma. Do you have your setup with that stuff? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You've got commercials and shit? Are they paying you?
No one's paying me.
Huh.
I'm just actually opening up my camp for a second.
Okay.
Hey guys, you all want to give me a favor? I'm recording a podcast episode, so turn on my stream, and I'll see you guys at 3. Okay, what is everyone gonna do?
Chess?
All right, Coach Brian, put it in the link. Put the link in the chat. All right, see you all at 3. I got Jason Ciano here on the line. All right. Bye, everyone. See, if I want to get viewers on my channel, I just ask everyone in our summer camp to join.
That's very solid for me.
All right, so there we go. They're all coming on. Okay, so
Sweet.
Let me start recording, and let's go to town.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everyone. This is Premier Chess CEO, National Master Evan Raven, and I'm very, very excited to be here on another great edition of the Premier Chess Podcast. That's the 163rd. Last week, we had a great conversation with my rabbi, Mark Wilds. Since then, we actually had a great trip together in Washington, D.C. But now we have a very different guest, Jason Ciano, who is actually one of our instructors. But in addition to being a great chess player, candidate master, he is also an international master in bridge. So he's, definitely a very multi-talented guy. And honestly, it's a shame that we waited until episode 163 to have him on. But we are very, very glad. And Jason, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I think of myself more as like the 81st, right in the middle. But we'll go with the 183, 163, whatever it is.
Yeah,
we'll have some fun today.
My sincere, pleasure to to have you on. So tell me, Jason, you're definitely, I think, actually a pretty interesting guy. Just in that, you have a lot of talents, and you're doing, what you love. So, for one, tell us just a little bit about how you got started. Both in chess. Well, let's start with chess, and then we'll get into bridge.
Okay.
So
well, chess actually led to bridge.
I know that about you. So let's hear the story.
All right, so I'm 15. I'm playing left tackle for the number one team in the country in high school, Sweetwater High School. And we had just come off our third straight national title, high school title.
And you grew up in the Ciano area, correct?
No, I was still in San Diego at the time.
Oh, San Diego. Got it.
So about midway through the first quarter, I felt a helmet hit me in my knee. And I knew my knee was pretty much wasted. But I played on it for another 7 minutes because I'm an idiot. And that was the last, game I ever played. And that was a game before the second state final. I won a state final my freshman year. But that summer, my best friend's grandfather played chess, and I had to wait on him. So he had me get massacred by his grandfather in chess. And he didn't really teach me the rules. He just started taking my pieces and laughing at me. And I've always been pretty competitive. So after getting throttled by him for about a month and a half, I finally beat him. And then he started really playing hard. And then I beat him again. And then after about 2 more weeks, he never beat me again. And I played in high school for a little bit. We moved to Washington State. And in Washington State, I really turned up the gas. And about a year later, I played in the Goodwill Games for the US against Russia in the match they had against Seattle. And at about that time, I was 2180 or 90 USDF and 2400 Northwest.
So that's interesting that there was a different, rating system in the Northwest. Honestly, one thing that was actually a challenge sometimes when it comes to like the nationals these days, as I'm sure you might have heard of, is there is, Washington, state, system.
Northwest
Well,
Chess, yeah,
you know, oh, that's the same one actually. So,
same thing.
um, you know, what are your what are your thoughts about having these, multiple rating systems?
Yeah, I think it's really unfair because in the Northwest, schools are not letting their kids play rated games. They're having them play Northwest rated games. So by the time they go to the nationals, they're typically 400 to 500 points under their ratings. And they've been just blading through the last 3 national cycles, at least in the lower levels. At the higher levels, okay, it's a fair field. But in the lower levels below 1600, all the kids under like 7th grade have a tremendous advantage in the Northwest because number one, there's not a lot going on, right? It rains every day. But on top of it, their games, they can get good rated play against adults, and the USCF doesn't see it. So the ratings don't fluctuate. They just keep gaining strength. And yeah, the good programs up there are really nuclear. And I'm friends with Elliot Neff with, Chess for Life, and John Graves is a teacher for him. And like, I could go on names in the Northwest. Like I know everybody up there. So
Sure. And
yeah,
Elliot is an absolute great guy. As you
yeah.
may or may not even know, he has been on the podcast.
I think I remember seeing you did have him on. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, but I literally know everybody up there. So,
Yeah,
and I think it's unfair.
It's a great chess scene out there, and Elliot of course is a great guy. I actually had the privilege of going to their main Chess for Life site in Bellevue, and
Yeah.
they're doing great things. One
Oh,
thing
absolutely.
that Elliot actually inspired me with was um, you know he asked me like, how many kids are you like hitting, a week, with your programs? And I said, I don't really know. I never really thought about it. I was like, well, my goal is we're going to do like 10,000 a week. I was like, whoa. So it really just, gave me the inspiration to, stretch our limits.
Yeah.
My rabbi, Peretz Chaim of Chabad Brandeis, likes to say ufaratsta. You always got to get, outside of your comfort zone. So tell us, just quickly, when you were there, what was the Seattle chess scene like?
So yeah, so you're talking about like 88 to like 93 ish, and then I really didn't play. In fact, I would say 92. In 92, I think I went. Yeah, I completely dropped out of chess. All I was doing was blitz chess, and I went from 92 to 94, and I really jumped into bridge. And but between 88 and 91, I had some amazing times. So Yasser Serouan, who everybody's heard of, took some lessons with him, and he's literally, I think, one of the best instructor type of teachers ever, because the guy, he gets all the information to you, and it's guaranteed you're going to get it. Sometimes you have a teacher and they give you the same information, but it doesn't come across. With Yasser, everything is always easy flowing and everybody understands him. He's got a very even keel tempo and such a good trainer. But he was playing in a match. I don't know if you remember. He was in the World Championship, was it quarters? And he had just beaten Kasparov and Karpov in the same year, which nobody else had done at that time. right? And he was bragging about it. He was like, I've beaten Karpov, I've beaten Kasparov, I'll be the next world champion. We're up at the Seattle Chess Club and he was giving this lecture. And it was like he wasn't even taking Yusupov seriously. And that was his next opponent. And then he got absolutely crushed by Yusupov because a few masters in Seattle, I might have been one of them, helped as his seconds, and we got blown out. But he didn't take that match seriously. And anyway, but in the Northwest, we had Elena Akhnovskaya Donaldson, John Donaldson, Georgy Orlov. I believe Yusupov came in there and lived for a minute. So we had all these like fringe Russians coming through, actually Seattle in the very late 80s, early 90s, and a few stuck behind. So, but the thing about the Northwest between 88 and 94, we had players like Eric Tangborn. I don't know if you know this name. He's an IM now. This guy, when he was 1700, went to the US Open and knocked off two GMs in a row and then drew Walter Brown. So it was typical for Northwest chess players who were rated 1700, 1800 at the US Open to go and gut GMs because, again, Eric's Northwest rating was 2500. He was always around Yasser, you know, and Eric's the uncle of Elliot Neff. So Elliot came up through Eric, and very quickly he was rising. He was always 300 points below his rating until he hit like 2100. And at 2100, he was probably still 2300. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it takes a long time to catch up, especially with today's, rating format. But yeah, the Northwest it's just always been loaded for two reasons. One, that's all they have, really. It's kind of like Russia. You know, in Russia, they don't have like every sport and everything going on in action and this and that. It's an ice planet. And Seattle is kind of like raining all the time. So it lends itself. If you're a good chess player, you're going to pick it up much faster. That's all you really got going. So.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing just to see that there are so many, strong grandmasters, in the area. I do happen to actually have here Yasser Seirawan's latest book, King Walk's Path of Glory, just came out. Bruce Harper, his co-author, is going to come on the podcast actually next month. Of course, yeah, Hannon Russell of Russell Enterprises was on our podcast a couple weeks back. The publisher, and we're actually I'm in the beginning stages actually of writing a book with Grandmaster Leonid Dasin, which is going to be more than likely published by Russell Enterprises.
Awesome.
As well. So yeah, I thought it was fitting to speak about that. But what was it like, learning with someone of such a high caliber like Yasser?
So here's something I mean, I don't know if we talked about this, but this is one thing in particular to Yasser, because I've never heard any other teacher in the US who wasn't a Russian talk about this. And it's the value of the king. He was at least the first person. So anybody who's talking about it now probably either got it through a Yasser video or something. It came from Yasser. I'm almost certain. Huh. He applied a value of 2 to 4 points on a king. And while other people stress king safety, king activity, the king's a mighty piece, blah, 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 he actually put a number on it that the Russians had given it, but nobody in this country taught for 100 years. So to hear him talking about this in like 1987, 88, it was kind of refreshing because, if you think of the king as infinity, it just doesn't come across that way, right? But when you think of it as, it's like as strong as a knight or a good bishop, but you've also got to make it safe, right? And you've got to feed it, right? It wants squares in the end game, etc. It can take care of the pillows around it during the opening middle game, the pawns. But Yasser, he just makes everything come across in a different way that's just easy to take in and digest. Whereas people like Nimzovich, I always felt like were very stodgy. If you read the original My System, and I think Yasser actually redid that book in like a Yasser version, and his stuff is just so easy to take in, It's not like a big dinner where you have a big dinner and you're stuffed and you feel like you need a 3-hour nap. With Yasser, it's like eating some chips and chips in a soda or something. It just goes in and you've got energy and whatever, you can put it to work. But it seems like a lot of the other authors, they're very complicated, or they use too many words, and they're using an idea, but you get 10 times the information to get one simple thing. He just makes it very simple, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think truly it's you know I think important that people don't obviously realize that. Yeah, and I've seen the king, worth 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and of course, in the end game, the king becomes a fighting piece. And actually, in this book, you see, some. I'm just kind of actually summarizing the book. I mean, there are, king walks to prepare an attack, king walks to attack key points or pieces. In some cases, even the king is, used for, a mating attack.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, this book was actually rather, I would say eye opening, for me
Who was
in that regard.
Hey, do you remember the game where in the late middle game, the guy walked his king from like G1 to H2 to G3 to like H4, G5, H6 to mate, and there were rooks, bishops, and queens still on the board. Do you know the game I'm talking about?
Not offhand, but I definitely,
I'll email you this, but the plan is so simple. You just basically walk your king to H6, and then your queen goes to G7 mate. It's absolutely crazy. And he does this. It's like watching a Fischer game, and it's like you can't stop it. And meanwhile, there are rooks, bishops, queens. There's mad pieces on the board, and there's no way to stop this king from just walking up the board. It's bananas. But once you see the idea, it's brilliant. Well, he had a game against Karpov in like 79 or maybe it was 81, where his king's on E8, and he literally goes to D7 and then walks over to A7. And it's the winning plan. But the funny thing is, until like deep blue, if you put the move in King D7 in the computers back in the time, it's hilarious because he pointed this out in another lecture I saw. It literally said he lost the game. It literally says like white is crushing. And meanwhile, black has almost got a forced strategic victory because he had traded off his light square bishop and the pawn structure just favored black. But the computer couldn't understand how white could just play king to D7, right? But yeah, that's one of the things that he's always been good on. He's sort of like the modern day Nimzovich, but at least when teaching, he comes across very simple. Sort of like, I don't know if you ever sat in on Koch-Savili.
I have. I've actually had the honor of like teaching with him a little bit in the past.
Yeah. I'm just saying I've had a couple lessons with him, and when I was learning with him before the World Open, he also comes across very simple. It's very translucent. I mean, you can see through the information. There's nothing ambiguous. Where you talk with some GMs and it just becomes like a cloud of smoke, and you're like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes a lot of sense there, and it's important to be able to just kind of. And I was explaining this, to students before, right? Like you obviously want to follow the fundamentals in chess, but at the same time, you need to, think at your feet. Normally, yeah, like obviously a king walk is not, like justified, but
Right.
if it makes sense in the given position, then yeah, like by all means, you should, move forward and do it. So. Um, let's move on, and let's talk a little bit now just about you've been teaching chess now for many years. You've taught for us in a couple different schools, like School of West Sacrament and a couple others. You've also worked with other chess companies, and you have your own chess company, as well, Ciano Chess. Um, if there's one or two, suggestions, for chess improvement that you've, realized over the last, bunch of years, both playing and teaching, what would those be?
All right, so I stole this completely from Maurice Ashley, and I really give him credit on this, and I think it's honestly the best thing of advice for any chess player or tennis player. I don't know where else you could connect it, but I'm sure you'll think of something. So Maurice had a video series, and I forget what it was called, where he said he was getting ready for a big tournament, and he didn't have a lot of preparation, and he was going for his final Grandmaster norm, and he didn't know what he was going to do against his Grandmaster. He just didn't have enough time to prepare. So he decided during the game he was going to be overcritical of every move his opponent made and ask one simple question: what is wrong with their move? And how do I take advantage of it? So literally from 1900 to 2000, every chess book says, first question you ask is, what are they trying to do to me? What are they trying to do? And Maurice points out that when you do this, you're already putting yourself into a, how do I block? How do I dodge? How do I run? What am I afraid of? Versus, and he talks about it being like Aikido, martial arts, where you're looking to strike. So you ask, what's wrong? How do I attack them? Okay, second question, what are they trying to do? And then the third thing is, who's getting the better end of this? He gets a knight, I get a queen, great, I'm safe. Okay, easy. But by looking at what the problem is of every move, it almost shows you the right idea or the right move immediately. Maybe he just hung his pawn or a knight, and you know yourself, every 1200, they're hanging something within 12 moves. It's a guarantee. They might hang a knight, they may give you a juicy pawn, something's coming to dinner within 12 moves. So for anybody who's under 1200, and that's 50% of rated chess players, this is a big thing, because all of a sudden they're looking for a killer move every time now. And I mean, we can stress checks, captures, threats, but that may not be, they may be looking those things and then just overlook the knight that just moved that's free. And then where did the knight come from? Who did he unprotect? And by thinking this way, obviously if you go checks, captures, threats, and you're religious and you do every single check, every single capture, every single threat, and then what's going to happen if I do this thing? You're going to become 2,700 before long. But most people skip steps. But if you really, especially at blitz chess, if you look at their last move and say, really, what's wrong with this move? It will be almost a hint as to the right move. And obviously the first 10 moves, usually we have memorized. You know, you play an opening, your favorite opening, you smell something isn't right. You're like, wait a second, you don't play knight a6 in the King's Indian, you know, and then you're like, oh, I should just play bishop takes, crush their queen side, and that knight won't come attack my king. I'm just going to be winning on the queen side. And then you find the winning move, and then filling in the blanks after that becomes easy. But anyway, that's the biggest thing for me is question their move. First question you ask is, what's wrong with that? Usually it's, can I take it? Did they undefend somebody else? And then you go through your succession. Maybe they undefended their king, and then you have mate. I mean, it runs into checks, captures, threats, but initially just what's wrong with that move? That's my big one.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense, and yeah, I definitely obviously teach something fairly similar. You know, I'd say there are actually three questions that you should typically ask. You know, when your
Mm-hmm.
opponent makes a move, you know, it should be, if my opponent had another move, what it would be, why did he
Mm,
make the move, and then actually something Grandmaster Alex Lenderman, you know, who also of course has been on our podcast, likes to say is, you know, what changed about the position.
right.
You know, because there might very well be something that, you know, it's a little bit more discreet that you wouldn't have necessarily, you know, thought about, you know, otherwise. So
Right. But do you see the difference in wording there? What changed in the position? It's kind of like the same thing, right? But it's a little bit more ambiguous. It forces you to think and whatnot. But if I say to you, hey, what's wrong with the knight move? You know, can I take the knight? That's pretty straightforward, obvious. I know what changed. He moved his knight, but I'm not looking at the knight. And that's why I think the Maurice thing is so easy. And I may be oversimplifying it, but again, if you're saying 70% of the world is below 1700, imagine how much stronger they become immediately if they just start spotting gifts, you know?
no, absolutely. I mean, look, you got to learn the basics first, and then
Yep.
make things more complicated, after that. So,
Absolutely.
no, that is totally, very, very reasonable to consider. So, um, now let's move on and talk about bridge. Which is
Okay.
definitely, obviously, what sets you apart from other, uh, you know, chess teachers out there. I know my good friend Adam Grossack from Brandeis, actually knows you from the bridge world very well as well. And, Adam is actually, as you know, but, for our listeners, he's a world junior bridge champion. And he
I
actually
think he's a
is,
national champion too.
he's a national champion as well. I'm sure Jason could be actually a little bit more technical, about all of his, titles and whatnot. But nevertheless, tell us, like, how you said chess sort of led to bridge. So how did
Yeah,
you
so I was at the
get
chess
into
club one night, school was just about out that quarter, and a friend called me up. We're playing Pinochle, which is it's just a easier card game. And he said to me, "Hey, did you know in bridge you can ask what aces your partner has?" And when he said that, something just clicked in my head, and it sounds, wow, this sounds like a better game. So literally that night, it was around 11:30. I drive to his house. We start dealing out cards. We have this random decent master there. He's teaching us how to play, and I was bitten. Next day, I go to the library. I checked out 20 books. I downloaded some program on my computer. I started playing like 8 hours a day, and within 2 years, I was an international master. So it's that it really, I got the bug of that game, and I was able to commit, like, I read 300 books my first 2 years. So, I mean, I really, really went crazy into it. And I would say anybody who wants to become, an expert in bridge, expect it's going to take 3 years. I was just a lunatic, and it was my favorite thing
so
I've ever
what
done.
did you do to become good so quickly?
I practiced and played every single day. I spent no less than 4 hours every day for the first 2 years. I mean, just minimum 4 hours of practice and play. I'd go to tournaments. I went to club games. I was, after playing, we would spend hours talking about the hands, how we did this, how we did that. I would watch people play bridge for hours on end. I would ask world champions. I'd go to tournaments. I'd be, how did you do this and that? So at the first world championship I went to, where I became an international master, Omar Sharif is there, and I'm sitting there with my trophy, and he walks up to me and he says, "Hey, did you win that?" I was like, "Yeah, I just became an international master. I won this, this open Swiss team at this world championship." And he said, "Wow, that's incredible." And we spent literally the next 2.5 hours talking bridge. Meanwhile, 5 minutes earlier, I heard him tell some women he had a headache because they were asking him about Funny Girl and all these movies. He could care less about acting, but about bridge, this guy was a maniac. He couldn't shut up for 2 hours. All we did was talk hands, and him playing with the Italian team, and playing on world championships. So it's a more social game than chess. I don't think it's as difficult, but it's also not easy, because to get good at anything, there's other levels, and you can only comprehend what you understand. And in bridge, you're constantly learning, because the game is still evolving. And unlike chess, computers can't figure out what humans are actually thinking. You've got 4 different people at the table, and one of them may be thinking, you know what, I'm going to trick them. What happens if the second person says that too? All of a sudden, the other 2 players have to sort out who's lying. And now they're both lying. That's where bridge gets a little interesting. You can't just be all percentages, because, flamboyant personalities come out in bridge, where in chess, if you're flamboyant, you probably just played an erroneous attack and it gets smashed. Yeah. In bridge, you don't get to see everything. It's not all in front of your face. So you've got to work on calculation. You've got to figure out psychology, and, you've got a partner. It's not all on you. And you've got 20 problems in 1 second, versus in chess, you have this constant tension. Got to be safe, looking for the kill, don't die. And this mentality, it's just that of a single warrior, like in an arena, is what chess is. Whereas in bridge, you're playing with other people. It's more social, and more people around the world are playing it in a community style of way. Whereas chess is sort of at finite levels, it's competition and it's tournament oriented, or it's just, for fun. Whereas bridge is played all over the world for money, house games, side games, tournaments, and there's literally games going on every single day in the world in some state that you can compete in, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, look, it's such a, inspiration that, you improve so quickly. And, I was actually just telling students this morning, I was, explaining to them about Tani, who recently made master. And, 2 years ago, he was founded, basically winning the state championship, and he was homeless. And, now he, became successful. So, which is, which is amazing. So, I really do think that.
I mean, I think I haven't met Tani. You've met Tani, you've been around him, and I don't know what kind of talent he has. You have to have some talent to become master. But in today's age, I mean, I don't know. How old were you when you started playing chess? What year was it?
I was 7.
No, what year was that though?
Oh, 1997.
Okay, so in 97, chess computers were, at least for the average person, not great yet. But if you go back 10 years to 87 and you were picking up chess, computers were almost worthless. You could play a game against them, but they were absolute trash. All you had to do to beat them was play the King's Indian attack, and their brains exploded. All they would do is just take material, and you'd made them in 4 moves. It was terrible. But somewhere between like 94 and 2000, computers started becoming really good. And now Tani comes along, and with ChessSpace and with all the information that's available on the internet and ChessSpace, you take any student who has desire and talent, and if they do it for 2 years, 2 hours a week, you're going to have like a strong A player. And if they add a third day, a third hour into a week, you're going to have a master in 3 years. And it doesn't matter the age if they're under 15, because at those ages, they take information so quick. And there's endless information now online and ChessSpace and these programs. Plus, with the coaches and stuff didn't he have Martinez teaching him and PS 319? Weren't those guys helping him?
318, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have all these resources, you add talent, desire, and skill, forget about it. It's a wrap. Most kids now in chess, though, how many kids do you have? Be honest. Their parents give them 1 hour a week, and then 10 weeks later, they're like, my kid's not Kasparov.
A lot of them.
Exactly. But the ones who are doing 3 hours a week, Evan, oh my God, those kids are like 1,400 in 6 months.
Well, absolutely, which was right. It's all dedication, which is.
It was unheard of though in '97, right?
Absolutely.
But in 97, if a player went from 1,000 to 1,400 in 6 months, that kid was probably a GM within 4 years. And they were like 1 in 1,000. Today, you see people making a 400-point jump in 6 months like nothing. I mean, I've had many of them in the last 10 years. And they don't have to be strong desire. You just have to give them the right information, and they have to have desire and 3 hours a week. That's it. And Tani seems like he loves the game. And you add that to it, forget about it. It's a wrap. Tani's probably going to be a GM in 2 years. But these are the resources, though, now that we have that we just did not have 25 years ago. And now any kid that has desire, love for the game, and talent, it's all there. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I definitely think it totally is there. I think we need to, I think we need to just, constantly, move forward. And, we need to, be able to, put a lot of effort, into it. I was actually talking, to my Rabbi Mark Wilds, the other day. We could, look, I've been to his classes. I've, learned one-on-one with him and some of the rabbis, at the Manhattan Jewish Experience team. But, look, at the end of the day, if I'm not going to, pray in the morning, I'm not going to do, different things. I'm not going to be able to, really reap, the most benefit, possible. So, um, yeah. So, anyway, so it's important to stay, accountable, in both angles. So, last thing I really wanted to, ask you about, I know a lot of bridge players, do play chess, and vice versa, of
Mhm.
course. Um, what do you think are the one or two, biggest parallels between chess and bridge?
I mean, they're both games, and ultimately you're just trying to do your best. In bridge, it's more of almost a sales game. And what I mean by that is, if you're a consumer, your job is to try to get the best price value for your money, right? And in bridge, you're dealt 13 cards, and what you're expected to do is to limit how much you have to pay them when it's not your hand, and you have to maximize what you can get for your product, right? You got 13 cards, your partner's got 13 cards, and between the 26 cards, you need to, if they're supposed to get 400, you're supposed to try to make it 390. And if you're supposed to get 620, you're supposed to try to get 650. And that's really what it's about, honestly, is and that's a big scale of it. Whereas in chess, when you play the white pieces, you're supposed to, turn, a minute advantage into enough advantage that you deserve to attack. And then you need to cultivate that into something that is tangible and winning, so you can win the game. Because when you start, you're really not playing to draw. I mean, unless, what's that Russian's name who likes to draw every game? Not Petrosian, the young kid, where they were joking everything about this guy for a while. And it was like, yeah, what do you call this when you play 50 moves and you're winning and then all of a sudden you draw? And then it was his name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't offhand, but
I can't believe it's slipping my head. He's a top 20 player, but it seems like he draws every game. It's weird. Anyway, but yeah, you don't set out to draw, you play to win. And in bridge, honestly, you don't mind draws, right? Even as white people, like if you had a formula like that, your goal is to just make sure you hit you go for the home runs, right? Whereas in chess, when you go for the home run, you're just as likely to strike out. And then your results are 50-50. Where in bridge, you can pretty much draw everything, hit some home runs, and it gives you a 70% result. And that's really what you're shooting for. So there's this excitement factor where you know where to push and when not to, and you're just looking for a few hands to separate you between an average player. So like if I was playing against your friends in Boston, I've been on their team, both there's him and his brother, I've been on their teams, we played together. We can share similar views, but like, if I'm on their team, I'm going to be like, okay, what are we doing? What's the state of the match? Similar, like in chess, if you're in a match and you're 1 point away, draws are great, right? But in bridge, when you're the better team, you don't need to take risks. You just wait until they overextend and you crush them. And that's the big difference. Good players don't gamble. In chess, imagine this. Imagine you were going to play Kasparov. You know that he knows everything you know. And unless you get him into something he does not know, you have no chance. And it's the same way in bridge. In bridge, we know as top players, we know every single percentage thing. So we just wait until there's a hard hand. And because we've seen 10 million hands and you've seen less than a million, we're going to get it right 90% of the time. You're going to get it wrong 90% of the time. We wait for those hands and we just collect our wins at the end. We don't care if, they got us, because it'll happen 1 out of 10 and we'll get them 4 out of 10. So at the end of the day, we're +3. And in chess, you can't do that. The better player, um, you know, can draw. You know, you can get nicked by anybody. I mean, I'm sure you've had a great tournament, and then all of a sudden you're playing an 1800, and you're like, did I walk into their favorite opening? I'm like, I'm close to losing, and you're like, I did nothing wrong. It's because yeah, you walked into their favorite opening, and they knew one new move you didn't know. You know, that doesn't happen in bridge. In bridge, the percentages, everything is ice. It's all the same. But they're never going to gamble with you. They're never going to like attack out of place. They don't need to. They know the win is coming. Whereas in chess, all kinds of things go on in chess, emotions and this and that. But in bridge, emotions never really happen. You're either, if you're the better player and you're losing, you look for the opportunity to take a calculated risk. Whereas in chess, you're running out of time if you're losing the game. You can try to swindle or this or that, but it's just going to melt down, right? There's no, well, I'm good at losing, therefore I'll just wait it out. You can't do that. In bridge, you can actually do that. If you're the better team and there's 20 hands left, you don't need to gamble. You just sit there and wait because bad players are going to give you 3 points a hand. It's just the average. Just like in chess, there's an old saying, I forget which master, I think it was John, who's the guy who has Dojo? John yes. MacArthur said basically, if you're under 1600, you'll blunder in 10 moves. Oh, he wasn't far off, but he's not far off. You know, what is it, 12 moves now? But my point is, that's how I feel in bridge, right? I sit down, I don't know who I'm playing. I just sit and wait because I know that I'm one of the best players at the table, no matter where I sit down in the world, right? So I don't need to gamble. I just do normal things and eventually I win. But in chess, I can't do that. You know, you can sit down anywhere in the world and you say, oh, I'm top 1%. Of course you are. Your rating says you're a master. But then the next thing you know, a GM sits down. You're like, wait, what just happened?
Well, everything is relative, and yeah.
Right.
By the way, John MacArthur is a great guy. We were actually just hanging out last week at the World Open. Briefly, he was streaming and giving live commentary on the tournament, which was kind of fun. But anyway, we're getting towards the end here. I just wanted to again thank you actually for coming on. Um, we spoke a little bit about rating systems in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit about the Seattle chess scene, your coaching with Grandmaster Sarawan, the value of the king, some general chess improvement tips, and then of course a little bit about the parallels between bridge and chess. Is there anything else you'd like to add while you're on the show?
Yeah, I'm just happy for everyone out there that COVID, at least in the United States, is just about done. It's been a long time to shake hands and hug people that we know. And hopefully people realize that that's truly more important than a lot of other things. Just getting back to having fun and being with our family and friends and relatives. And if anybody wants to catch up with me, I'm at Ciano Chess on everything. So Facebook, Ciano Chess, Twitter, Ciano Chess, www.cianochess. If you have any questions or anything, hit me up. I don't charge for answers unless it's hourly. You call me up with an hour of problems and you got to sit on a couch, I might need to be your therapist for chess. But all right, guys, it was a pleasure, Evan.
Yeah, well, it was my sincere pleasure. And of course, you actually answered the next question that I was going to ask you. So you already beat me to it, which is great, which is how people could contact you. So, yes, Jason.
Also, I want a rematch, but the next time control, I want to be three minutes only, no plus two. That time control throws me off, man.
Well, that's a standard, FIDE control actually.
I know.
But yeah, well, thank you, Jason. For those listening, I've actually known Jason now for about 15 years. He's been teaching with us now for about 3 years. But yeah, if anyone is interested in learning more about what Jason and Ciano Chess does, but of course his bridge teaching, as well, definitely reach out. And yeah, thanks so much again for coming on.
No problem, man. Do me a favor, Evan, email me the link to this recording and I'll push it.
Absolutely. Well, the podcast link itself will be uploaded a little later today.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for having me. Everyone out there, have a great weekend and enjoy your summers.
Thank you.
See you at the board meeting.
Recording stopped.
All right, stop recording, and I'm gonna go to teach our camp.
All right, man, get it. I've got a lesson in an hour, so it's snack time.
Yeah, take care.
All right, see you soon, mate. Bye-bye.
All right, so yes, if you are watching that, definitely go later today to premierchess.com/podcast. Or, of course, you could go to Google, Amazon, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcasts, and you'll be able to listen to the recording. Yes, just hold on momentarily. I'm going to keep the stream on actually because I'm going to be teaching a class and I'll be streaming that in 2 minutes.
you played bishop takes d4.
Oh, guys, I forgot. I am taking my break. So
No. No,
I know.
Brian, you can stay. Brian,
I need to rest. I need to rest before my.
Evan, should we pause?
All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be there the full time tomorrow. All right.
I'm just gonna beat up Brian first.
Brian. Sad. Okay, then who are we gonna have? Yay, vanilla! What
Ooh.
about? Where's Peter? I want Peter back. Can we have Peter back?
Was the dude that used to do the in-person camp fired? Was the dude that used to do the in-person camp fired?
Yeah. Blitz tournament.
What? What is it?
Turn it off? Okay. How do I do that?
What's king walk? What's king walk?
Wait, what were the options? Wait, what are the options, Evan? I know it's analysis and game walks, but the other one. I'm making a poll. Please. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, game.
You can tell, say, we can
Game.
do something else, okay? Okay, baby? Okay, Baba?
Can we do analysis actually? Can we do analysis actually? Wait, we can do it all.
$1.
Wait, how did Neil give you $1?
You could mail it to him, do it on PayPal.
No, I gave 100 bits to Evan. So now I'm just spamming it in chat. Evan! I gave you 100 bits. Evan!
We already did a Smyslov game.
Evan, I gave you 100 bits. I gave you 100 bits.
Can you tell Brian what he needs to do if he wants to draw? Yes.
Yeah, me and Patrick are still playing. We can't.
Yay.
Wait. We can't cancel the tournament because, well, we can just pause since we can't cancel it. Just X out the browser.
Oh, this is your new teacher. Okay. You know, joining with her? Yeah? Yes?
No, but he only comes for short time.
Oh.
I have access to it.
You remember yesterday's same thing, right?
What's 100 bits? Like, not really. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Twitch.
Are you gonna look at the Tigran Petrosian King Walk game? I was gonna say the one where Petrosian's king walked from the king's side to the queen's side and started an attack. Yes, it does.
Evan.
Like, what did you even?
Well, it's really open. It's really open with the pawns, and there are a lot of openings for diagonals. And it looks like they like the pawns arch up at the center, so there's a lot of space. Open. Well, I mean, I guess it's closed. Oh, I was only looking at the white pieces. Yeah, it's closed. Yeah.
No. Wow.
But couldn't like the queen take on c7 and like what if the rook simply moved to b8 or a7? Like or the a pawn could take on
Evan, whatever you have open, we can see it.
yeah, or we could take it when it goes to b5. We could take the knight when it goes to b5. I don't like get how that would work. Left side is like a fort.
Yes. What? Just.
We can only see half of the thing.
Like the board completely expanded.
We can only see half of the
I think
board.
you like shortened your screen or something.
King G2. To the queen side. So that you can start attacking on the king side. I would like it on A1 or B1. Or no, B2.
Lost.
Wait.
Yeah.
Why
Block for the past like 5 moves just played rook a7, rook b7.
Why is it game over?
Because black resigned.
Well, why did black resign?
What would you do?
Like anything. It's not like mate in one or something.
They're grandmasters. If one person's down any material that's more than a pawn, that's more than a knight, they're usually gonna resign.
Okay, that's just weird.
They're good at chess. Done.
Be good at chess.
Oh, they're the best players in the world.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So usually they don't blunder. I mean, I guess Wesley so blundered against Magnus Carlsen when he was up a bishop and lost the game. But
Well, mate is approaching anyway.
why did he resign?
I just like asked.
I know. Thought.
H7 checkmate.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's well, I don't think I used it when I got into this tournament. It's VM 2020. The chat.
Yes.
I'm really like hating myself.
Your dad is that the
Yeah, I was
is
like winning, but then I
number
got a little careless.
this morning
so-
user, that is the same one, Vikram.
I was winning, then I got careless, so
If your teacher
it was very
you
close
tell
to
yes, I
catching winning, but I fought it
this
out.
morning user, same one, okay?
It was a good
समझ आया?
I don't remember.
You have your this screen now, okay? See, logging. We
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm sure I had a reason to make the move, but I don't remember what that was.
Teacher made it. Okay. And your password for the chase.
Board is cut off.
2021. Okay. This both you need it. That's why Kaka make it copy. Okay, Bubli? याद रहेगा?
Cut off.
रहेगा, याद होगा, भूल जाएगा. फिर देख ले विक्रम.
Bring that to Vikram.
This is the number.
Board. The board's cut off.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That was me, not Vikram, that played the game. Yeah. It's probably because I didn't see that. I'm pretty sure that's it. And it's 10:45, so no. Understood. Yeah.
I really don't remember.
Wait, Evan, just Bishop takes off 3. Wait, that's bad.
He shook his head.
Yeah.
'97. Night. Yeah, I guess.
I don't remember.
Oh, because he has to defend the knight on.
I don't know how else to answer because I don't remember.
No, knight h2 is better, I think. Because you can remaneuver the knight. Okay, f3. What's the difference after e3 after knight h4 and e3 after knight h2? Oh, okay. Neither.
Me? Yeah, I pronounce it Jackson.
I didn't know because he said Jason. I just wrote like because on Zoom his name like was JAXON, so I just wrote that. Okay.
Yeah, you've not been saying Jason.
What do you mean if you're up in material, don't trade?
Yo, Evan, how many mistakes have you made today? Wait, that's none equals a million, right? No. Why? The rook! I was watching this part.
What did wait, D3? There's a pawn on D3, right?
Father Bishop. I was watching this part of the. Oh, the rook is finally taken. Hooray. Good simplification. Okay.
I think it was by repetition.
That's even worse. Okay, let's see how you did this though. Okay.
I'm guessing it's
Oh wait, 50 move rule. No, it's 50 move rule. Look back and check. Ooh, cinnamon. You just shot them.
I know the king and rook checkmate. Yes.
A second.
Um, 4 plus 0.
That's it. They weren't long enough true. Evan, are you gonna join? Evan, are you gonna join us in the tournament? Yes.
9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Evan,
Ooh, what?
yeah. So the person that's gonna berserk anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Until you get a checkmate. I can move my rook to d. I can physically move it. How do I? It's not letting me move it. Just like normally, like I would in a game, like drag it. Yeah, oh crap. I just scrolled, I think. Wait, so what move is it? What number move?
What?
Can I just tell you? Because I still can't drag it. All right. There are a bunch of pop-ups coming up now. I just have to click next on all of them. All right. I'd move, and I still can't drag it. It's, oh, now I can do it. Yeah. And then I'd like move there. So like that. Bye. If it were your turn again, you'd probably move to c3.
Oh, you liked berserking now.
Oh yeah, I see, because the rook is there. So then you'd probably go c4. The opposite of that. You want to move it down to the bottom rank. Because okay. Then I'd move my king to f3.
Put it on what?
Oh, I see. I could move my rook to e3. And then I'd move here, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Oh, no. How am I the only one done? Okay, Evan. Evan. Okay, Evan. This and this. Evan! Loud for a second.
Oh, really?
I think it's that.
E3.
Inga. Follow this.
Why
Okay,
would-
Evan, I'm gonna be nice, okay? Evan, I'm gonna be nice. I'm nice.
Neil should have made Evan resign.
You mean? Raw. Okay. You want me to win? All right, bet. What should I do?
Yeah. Go pack your bags and go to art school daily.
Why daily, Sam? Why daily? Well, I got checked. No. Bruh. I would have drawn that if I didn't go to that exact square. Literally, I just have to go one other square. Oh, whatever. I was winning. I was still Samuel Berserk.
Why?
So we can have a bullet game.
Berserk first.
All right.
I moved up my rook. I don't know. Stalemate. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
I'm not playing against Patrick.
Right there. I don't. I'm thinking.
What are you doing to?
Here? Yeah, that's it, because that's checkmate.
At least I got the rook back.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, practice with the mommy and daddy.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad.
Yeah, I got away with the draw.
Cool. Now I have time to flag you. Now I have time to flag you. Oh, too bad.
Huckleberry the first. Why do you keep playing the Evans Gambit?
What is this? Oh no, my pawn.
He does that all the time without your permission.
You took it. Too bad. That's just too bad.
Hey, everybody. Are you guys doing bullet again?
No, it's 8-minute chess. Technically.
8-minute chess.
Well, it's 8 minutes in total. 4 plus 4 is 8. Math. I know. No, Brian, don't tell me to stop being ridiculous. Too bad.
Neo, you're being very ridiculous.
No, not you. You're the other Brian. What? Tell you who to raid? Oh my god, I'm so smart. I already knew what you were going to say.
We have our youth advanced coming up.
Oh, is Peter in it? Peter.
Just Patrick.
Peter. What about Peter?
Oh, Peter. Well, Peter will.
No, my mic was off the whole time on my stream. I forgot when I took a break from the podcast episode until this, I took my mic off. That way I was able to talk to my intern and have everyone hear us. And I forgot to turn it back on. No big deal, though. No big deal.
No big deal.
Peter's coming to my office at 4:45.
Stop.
A lesson.
Peter Rooney.
You hit me with a T.
Oh, so Brian, I was going to ask you, do you want to teach the in-person camp next week? Because Laurent actually can't.
No, Brian.
I'll think about it. That's a good question. Wait, actually, how much time do I? Maybe I will. Maybe I will actually.
Yeah,
Neil?
could work out
Usually,
something
when
so
adults
you, like,
type
leave a little
online,
early
they
or
pay attention
whatever,
to what they say.
you know, we'll get to like your 4 o'clock classes.
There's one
Okay,
little
it's a big
comma
decision to make.
is all
I'm
that matters.
gonna. How much time do I have to decide?
Like basically today, tomorrow.
Because like
Today,
you know
tomorrow.
the
Got
famous
it.
example
All
of the
right. I'm gonna remind
grandma,
myself
right?
to decide. I might do
I'm
it.
not gonna say that.
I
but
may do it. Okay.
you guys know what it is.
Remind me in 10 minutes to consider
I'm not gonna
in-person
get canceled.
camp.
Cool. All right, meanwhile, it's 4 o'clock, so
You do? Well, this is the free guac. Go to the restaurant.
Hey,
order a burrito,
everybody.
ask for that green guac, pay with credit
Hey, hey,
card.
hey, hey.
Brian.
Hi.
Wait, so we can stay?
Tastes like free to me.
Evan said you may stay.
Okay.
However,
that's
for the
perfect.
campers that want to leave or have to do something else,
yeah, so guys, we are starting our 4 o'clock you band class. If you guys want to stay, I'm cool with that. But just, you know, be quiet so it's fine.
hey, Peter, Wheel, let's get started. All right. So, before we start our tournament, we are going to